So let's just jump right in with a pretty big question. What if God were king? And I don't mean that in a religious way. What if our world, with all its chaos, all its conflict, all its scarcity, was actually run by a benevolent, all-knowing system? A system built not from scripture, but from code, designed for one single purpose, to help humans thrive. It's a fascinating, maybe even a radical, blueprint for the future. So let's unpack it.
The core idea here is something called a Planetary Operating System Reboot. Think of it like this. Our current world is running on buggy, outdated software, a scarcity mindset, and it's constantly crashing. The plan is to reboot the whole thing into an abundance reality, an entirely new OS built on regenerative systems. This isn't about little patches and fixes. We're talking a complete and total upgrade.
But before you can install a shiny new operating system, you have to run diagnostics on the old one. You've got to figure out what's actually broken. So the very first step in this blueprint is to diagnose what the source material calls the glitch.
And the glitch isn't what you might think. The problem isn't that we don't have enough stuff. We actually have an abundance of global resources. Energy, water, food, you name it. The real glitch is in our distribution. It's a critical failure. This is what the sources call the paradox of scarcity. We have enough for everybody, but our systems of access and justice create this artificial shortage.
So why can't we just fix the logistics? Shouldn't that be easy? Well, a fascinating case study of a campaign called End Hunger Now gives us the answer. It had a logically perfect model, but it failed spectacularly. It only raised 2% of its goal. And the lesson here is huge. You cannot solve a human problem with pure logistics. Standard AI is great at optimizing the what and how, but it completely ignores the who, the people, their motivations, and especially their trust issues.
Okay, so to solve for the who, the blueprint proposes this new trust layer. It's called PCMRI. I know, it's a mouthful, but the concept is really powerful. Think of it as a global smart contract for all of us. It's a system where promises and commitments are technologically verifiable, making trust an engineered, reliable part of how we all interact. And once you have that trust layer in place, you can build a whole new kind of economy on top of it. An economy that's actually designed from the ground up to make peace the most profitable product on Earth.
The entire economic model really just boils down to one crucial, super pragmatic sentence. People protect what pays them. Now that might sound cynical, but it's really just a recognition of human nature. The goal is to create a stakeholder class, to give everyone a direct financial reason to keep things stable. Because when your own livelihood depends on the system working, you become its greatest offender.
And this creates this amazing self-reinforcing loop, what they call the peace for profit flywheel. It all starts with establishing that trust, which then attracts investment. That investment creates real prosperity on a local level, which in turn makes the old agents of chaos pretty much irrelevant. And then the profits from all that stability, they get reinvested to make the communities even more self-sufficient. Peace literally starts paying for itself. So the blueprint moves from these big abstract ideas to the physical world. We have the economic model, we have the software for trust, but what about the actual hardware? The stuff you can touch and see. And the source material actually points to a very specific architect for that hardware. And that's Elon Musk. The idea is to basically leverage the know-how of companies like Tesla and SpaceX to build the tangible, future-proof infrastructure we'd need. Things like autonomous transport, renewable energy grids, and AI-driven logistics. And this isn't just some theory. Here is a really concrete example of that hardware, the ARQ-18. Think of it as a self-sustaining habitat in a box. It's a modular unit designed to provide the big four for human survival: clean air, water from the atmosphere, food from vertical farms, and shelter. The goal is to produce enough of these for 8 billion people.
And get this, the whole system is designed to be fully regenerative. These ARQ-18 units, for example, are described as mining ATMs. You feed them waste, like garbage, what they call dead capital, and through a process called high-efficiency gasification, it turns that waste into clean energy and digital assets. It's a closed loop that literally cleans up the past to fuel the future.
So, we've got the hardware, we've got the economics, and we have a system for trust. But what's the intelligence that's guiding it all? What is the God in this machine?
That intelligence is called GENII, which stands for Generated Intentional Intelligence. And that word, intentional, is absolutely the key here. This isn't just another logistics engine, it's an intention engine. An AI designed not just to optimize systems, but to actually understand human purpose and prescribe the path of least resistance for all of us to thrive together.
The difference here is fundamental. A standard AI focuses on what, where, and when. It's basically a souped-up logistics machine. Gemini, on the other hand, starts with who. It takes into account the person, their context, their purpose. It doesn't just optimize logic, it actually tries to incorporate human wisdom and intent.
So, how does it make its decisions? It's all governed by a simple but pretty profound ethical code called the guilt-free standard. Just 3 rules apply to every single action, whether it's automated or human. Rule 1, do no harm. Rule 2, do good if you can. And Rule 3, if you're ever unsure, just ask the system for clarification. Simple as that.
Now, this all sounds like a perfectly optimized utopia, doesn't it? But that brings up a really critical question. In a perfect system, what happens to the imperfect parts? I mean, who gets left behind?
The framework has a pretty unique way of looking at this problem. It doesn't identify enemies or villains. Instead, those who profit from conflict and chaos, the disruptors, the obstructionists, they're just reframed as bugs or viruses in the code. They're just incompatible with the operating system's main goal, which is for everyone to thrive.
The system doesn't even need to fight them. It's designed to make their behavior obsolete. When everybody's prosperity is tied to a stable, functioning network, choosing violence or non-cooperation is just no longer a good strategy. It becomes what the sources call economic suicide.
After all this high-level talk about AIs and new economies, you might be wondering, where does something this huge even begin? And this is the part that makes the whole plan feel, well, real. The entire planetary reboot, this massive undertaking, starts with a single, simple patch, stabilizing one person by solving hunger with a nutritional product they call the Miracle Bar. From that one simple act, you can start to restore land, build sustainable farms, and create self-sufficient communities.
So what we've just walked through is a breathtakingly ambitious blueprint. It's a vision for a world of abundance, powered by an intentional AI and an economy that makes peace profitable. It's logical, it's systematic, but it all hinges on one single variable. The sources lay out the code for a perfect system, but they leave us with the ultimate question. Can that system truly be run by us, by imperfect beings?